What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We did it. 16 games watched, 13 videos created. And after several hours of going over data, writing scripts, voice recordings, re-recordings, editing, re-edits, creating eye-catching thumbnails, and only generating 428 total views, and netting a total of -1 subscribers across 13 videos, which I'm really not even sure how that happens. What did I say to lose a subscriber? How much hate do you have to have in your heart to go out of your way to... You know what? Never mind. I'm here to celebrate with those of you who have stuck with me since the beginning of this journey, as I do my final review of the LA Chargers for this season. And this isn't just my final review of this season or for the year, but this is my final review ever. After this, there won't be any more reviews of Charger games. Like I said in my last video, which thank you to the 32 of you that tuned in and watched, these videos are somewhat time consuming. They require a bit of effort, and I have to give up things like my personal time, my sleep, my hobbies, and in the end, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze anymore. So outside of the playoff game reviews, which I'll be doing, which could be anywhere between 1 to 4 additional videos, depending on how far we go this postseason, this very well could be the second to last video that I'll ever do on here. And before I start reviewing this game, I just want to take a moment to say how proud I am of myself. See, I did these reviews last year, for those of you who've been with me for quite some time, but I didn't finish them. I never finished the job, and that was more so just out of pure laziness. And looking back, that's not who I am. I'm not a man who quits things, nor am I a man who was brought up to be lazy. When I put my hand to something, I intend to perform that task with a level of excellence and to see that task all the way through. That is who I am as a man. So I want to give myself a pat on the back for finishing what I started and doing it with a level of excellence that I'm proud of. Even when I didn't always feel like making these videos, when I had to sacrifice things like I said, my time, my luxuries, my hobbies, I stuck with it because that's what I do. When these videos perform so badly that I question why do I even continue to make them, I stuck with it because that's what I do. And even when others questioned me, asking why I even bother making these videos, there's no Charger fans. This is a waste of my time. The team's not a big enough draw. Just stop. I didn't. I stuck with it because that's what I do. And that means a lot to me. Sure, the videos didn't perform the way I wanted them to. I didn't gain the views or the subscribers that I had hoped for. But in the end, I gained something so much more valuable than that. More than numbers, more than data, more than subscribers, more than comments, likes, clicks, all that. I gained pride. Pride in a job well done. And I'm happy with that. All right. Now let's get to the review. The Chargers defeated the Raiders 34-20 in a game that had more at stake than most Week 18 games should have. See, with the Steelers losing to the Bengals the night before, we had a chance to control our own destiny going into the playoffs. As it stood, we were the 6th-seeded team in the AFC. It would have to play the Ravens in the first round of the playoffs, which is less than ideal. But with the win versus Vegas, we could move up to the 5th seed, where we would play the Texans. Still no pushover of a team, but they're definitely not the Ravens. So this was a game that we needed to win. And in big-time games, that's when you want your big-time players to step up. Guys like Justin Herbert, bald. J.K. Dobbins, bald. Ladd McConkey, bald. Deion Henley, bald. Derwin James, bald. But there was one other big-time player that stepped up. One other big-time player that balled. A guy who many wrote off, said he was a bust. But he kept working and quietly put together a very good season where he ranked outside the top 40 for receptions, but ranked in the top 7 for receiving touchdowns scored. And in a must-win game, he had a career day with 13 receptions, 186 yards, which ranks as the 7th most receiving yards by any receiver this season in the game. And that big-time player for us was Quentin Johnston. We had us a QJ game. The game started off with each team trading a series of 3-and-outs and then a few failed drives before Vegas cracked the game open with a 40-yard field goal to take the lead 3-0. To which we responded the very next drive with a 33-yard field goal, made possible by a 47-yard strike from Herbert to McConkey to tie the game up 3-3 to end the first quarter. The second quarter started and the Raiders scored on a 25-yard pass to Jakobi Meyers to take a 10-3 lead. And at this point, I was like, all right, now Chargers, 10 points to the Raiders this fast in a game of this magnitude? I know we're not about to choke. But we put together a drive led by Herbo, QJ, and JK that resulted in a 32-yard field goal, score 10-6 Raiders. The Raiders got forced into a 3-and-out, and then we scored yet another field goal, score 10-9 Raiders. And man, big shout out to Cameron Dicker, because when our offense stalls out, which happens more often than you would think, this man has been a model of consistency for us the entire season. Always keeping us in games, always clutch. Big shouts out to Dicker the kicker. Vegas gets the ball back, and 2 plays later, linebacker Deion Henley picks off QB Aiden O'Connell to give our offense possession on Vegas' 30-yard line. 2 receptions later, Herbert finds DJ Chark in the end zone for a touchdown, followed up by a successful 2-point conversion from Herbo to McConkey. Score 17-10 Chargers at the half. The second half started and we got the ball first, put together a good drive to got us to Vegas' 1-yard line, but we couldn't get into the end zone. Personally, I think JK should have gotten the ball 3 times in a row, but it didn't work out that way, and we had to kick a field goal, score 20-10 Chargers. Vegas got the ball back and ended up kicking a 47-yard field goal to make the score 20-13. Then LA gets the ball, and after some savvy runs by J.K. Dobbins, and then a huge run by Justin Herbert where he broke free for 41 yards, galloping down the field like a young baby giraffe, LA sets up shop on the Vegas' 4-yard line. We give the ball to JK and he gets 2 yards, so I'm thinking, give it to him again. Let him score his 10th touchdown of the season. But we passed the tight end Will Dissly, which I wasn't mad at. It was his 2nd touchdown of the year, so we can say he got more than one. And that's cool. Score 27-13 Chargers. The Raiders get the ball and try to make something happen, but after a few plays and going for it on 4th and 10, they fail to convert and give LA the ball back. LA marches down the field and ends up scoring on Hassan Haskins' 2-yard touchdown run, which, again, I wanted JK to score on the 2-yard line, but he didn't. It was Hassan's 2nd touchdown of the year, so he can say he got more than one. And that's cool. Score 34-13 Chargers. Then, with roughly 3.5 minutes left, Vegas put together a drive that annoyed me because our defense clearly didn't care that much about it, and the Raiders ended up scoring. Vegas tries an onside kick, we recover it, and that's the ball game. Final score, 34-20 Chargers. We secure the 5th seed. This time a year ago, we were 5-12 and had one of the worst defenses in the entire league. But a year later, we're 11-6. Statistically, the best defense in football and the 5th seeded team in the AFC going into the playoffs. What a turnaround. You know, if there was any season that I could make my final reviewing these games for the Chargers, I'm really glad it was this one. Because this is the dawning of a beautiful time for Charger football. Until next time, take care. God loves you. And I will see you guys after the Houston game.